Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be building a 2-foot by 4-foot barbecue pit. So this is going to be a square box. It's going to be 18 inches tall. I'm going to be making it out of sheet metal. Then it's going to have 2 rods going up in the air with a hand crank so you can adjust your grate for your desired heat for your meat. So the first thing we're going to do is grab this piece of sheet metal, cut it into the shape of the box, and then get to welding. So let's get right to work. Our box has been built. We got the 1 by 1 inch angle iron up here at the top, which is going to be very nice and it'll keep everything held together, and then there will be no sharp edges. So the next thing we need to do is get the grate cut out and then we'll be good to go. So let's get right back to work.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time.
Went ahead, got the lace cut out, got the frame for the bottom. I'm going to be putting expanded metal across the top so you can store stuff under there. We also put the 4-inch casters on here. I got these off of Amazon. They're my favorite ones to use. All metal, and they're very affordable. So I'll leave a link down in the description for those. I think everything's looking good right now. The next thing we are going to need to do is put that expanded metal in there, like I said, and then we will start putting the door on here. I might have to run a bar right here under this piece to reinforce it because it's kind of flimsy. So I will probably run a piece of angle iron under there, or a piece of real tiny square tubing or rectangular tubing, just something to reinforce it. So we'll do that before we hang the door, but let's get right back to work. Ahead and got the grate welded up. I used 1/2-inch hot rod here for the top of the grate. The next thing we need to do is get these corners cut out right here, or the middles cut out for the rectangular tubing. That is what the grate will slide up and down on. And on the rectangular tubing, I went ahead and got the 3/4 inch holes drilled in both pieces. The other one's over there. And then this hot rod will run through the top of that, so you can crank the cable up and down on that hot rod. So once we get all that done, we will start working on the upper assembly, which is the hot rod, the handle, the gear, and stringing the cable. So let's get this cut with the plasma cutter and get right back to work.
Some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry.
So I've done a few things now. I think from what y'all saw last, I was doing the door. I got all the hinges welded on, got all the latches welded on. I just used these little flip latches like that on both sides, 4 hinges along the bottom. We got the grate all welded up, and we got our hinges here, or I guess you would call them like a track, because it's gonna go up and down on this rectangular tubing. So I just put 2 pieces of angle iron on each side of it to make the track. And then I added this hot rod in the front to give it extra support right here, because I had to cut those corners out like I said earlier. I added these here. This is what the cable will be wrapped around. I'll just put a loop on both sides, and then it will wrap around the top of the bar up here. Got 1 stop welded on the end of the bar right here. I don't know why it's not focusing, but there you go. You can kind of see it. And then on this side of the bar, we have a stop sitting in there. It's just as a spacer right now. I don't know why there we go. It's focused now, good. And then I cut this out by hand. So it's not perfect, it's a little wobbly, but the idea behind that is I'll put a handle made out of hot rod like this. The handle will be sitting like right here or so. So whenever you crank it, it will get stuck on this hot rod and hold itself. And then the end of the handle will be heavy enough so when you start cranking it, it will crank around this. And then by the time it gets, back down here, it'll kind of roll around, and then it will get hooked on this one. So it'll be constantly catching itself. So if there's anybody that accidentally slips or something, it'll have a brake there. And I also might put a extra brake up here just to be super safe. But the next thing we're gonna do is get the big round handle that will be out here that you use to actually turn everything. We're gonna start working on that. We'll start putting another spacer in here and then start on the handle here. So let's get right back to work.
You're chilling when the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
Is done. We got the crank here, as you can see, with the, I'd call it a wagon wheel kind of, but when it's like this, it stops so nothing can turn on you, and then when you crank it, you can see how it falls every time you crank it. So then if you're cranking it fast and you slip, it'll hit and catch itself. But whenever you want to release it, of course, you just push up on this. I can't do it with one hand really, but there you go. You can see, and you just let it back down and let go of that when you want to stop it. So everything's good there. I went ahead and put the cable on here with just some rebar hooks and attached them down there. I did them at an angle like this, so whenever it wraps up, it'll wrap up continuously, because we've built one before and we put it right over the top of it and it wraps up on itself and gets tangled, and it's not a good way to do it. So we did that that way, and it's working really good so far. The next thing we did, we went ahead and added these handles on to those so that you could open and close it easier, and when it's hot, then it won't burn you. The last thing I need to do, weld in this expanded metal. I went ahead and got it cut already using the subsonic rigid cutter. That's my favorite thing to use for this expanded metal. It works really well. I'll show you what it looks like real quick. For anyone that cuts a lot of expanded metal, it's one of these. I bought the all metal cut off disc. It works extremely well for this stuff. So we are going to put y'all back on time lapse, get that welded up. And that's gonna be a wrap to this video. Thank you all for watching. So we have the barbecue pit here. The paint I used was some Ace barbecue paint. So hopefully everything will go good with that. I've never used it before, but I've heard good things about it. Everything else is looking good. The wheel is still working like it should. I've been testing it on and off, making sure nothing's gonna get stuck when I'm painting it and everything like that. So very pleased about that. Off camera, I'm gonna be building a 3/4 inch square tubing box for your logs and stuff to sit on. I'm just gonna put expanded metal on top of it so you can build everything on top and it will not burn out that bottom plate as fast. And other than that, I think we are going to sign off. So thank y'all for watching. Please like and subscribe. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.